Hello, everyone. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate what is prompt shell 1, PS2. That is prompt shell 1, shell 2 actually. In the last video, we talked about prompt shell 1, but in this video, we're going to talk about prompt shell 2. On Linux and Unix operating system, PS2 is defined to help you on the syntax of your commands that you write, and then it tells you that it's waiting for you to enter more commands to finish the command. So before we start off, I want to thank you for watching our channel and also your subscription. In the last video, I talked about PS1. What is PS1? Prompt shell 1. So today I'm going to cover PS2. Let's do that one, and we get started right here on the Linux platform. As you can see, I already set my prompt shell 1 to $sign only, so it is not too much information displayed. All you need is just to see a $sign symbol for my prompt shell 1. And then the prompt shell 2, $sign PS2, is pointing to that greater symbol there. That greater symbol is an indication that's waiting for you for more input. So if I say echo hello, and then I just press enter, it does not, I did not close the string with double quote that I started, so it's waiting for me to do it. Every time I press enter, it says greater signs. I need to see that double quote so I could finish executing the line. It's a bash, it's an interpreter. It reads one line at a time and it interprets it. So if I just say echo hello, like let's say a single quote, hello, and then even if I say double quote here, that doesn't terminate it because I started with a single quote. So it just takes the other one as input also. Once I put the single quote, it says, oh, you meant to close this one with this string with hello, comma, space followed by a string. So similarly, if you're writing a command, sometimes you're writing like env and then say grep, for example, PS1 is equal PS1, you could see environment is the command and do a global regular expression print $sign PS1. I mean, not $sign PS1 is the value, you get it. But notice if I just do the same thing with env, PS2 is not getting it. If I just do echo PS1, I get the value of PS1. And if I say echo $sign PS2, then you might be surprised, what is the mystery here? Why am I just not getting the env PS2 any value here? I mean, for env PS2, I am getting the value. Earlier I was not. Let me just see why I'm getting the value. So, global regular expression minus I in lowercase. Okay, so this is good. And so PS2, I have defined it there, but normally an env, like if I do a egrep and then say PS1 and then or PS2, both of them are showing here now. And then usually if PS2 is not part of the env, it is part of that set. So you will get it under set. Set covers both local variables and global variable. Env is only local variables. So if you do not see it, just look at the set value, you will see it, but you will be able to get the echo $sign PS2 disregard to whether you use set or env. So some users, they type in env and then grep out. No, you don't have to. You just do echo $sign variable name. Like if you're interested to know on the echo $sign shell, you just point out that one, or echo $sign pwd, pwd, print working directory. Same thing with home and everything else. So this time we're interested on the echo $sign PS2, which is this value, and set as this. I could change it to say export and then say PS2 is equal, and then I could say this code of the bracket as if it's pointing for a value. So if I say, let's say echo, earlier example, echo hello, and then I just do that one, double quote is okay, but if I don't do the double quote, automatically it prompt me till I just do it. Notice my prompt changed there. So if I just use a if statement, for example, say if 10 is greater than 5, and then 5, and then just say then echo yes, else say no, echo no, and then a 5. So you close that one and it's going to say yes because 10 is greater than 5. But if I change the expression, the default one expression, export to the prompt shell 2 to just say the symbol greater sign like it was, then now let's see, export not dollar sign, PS2. Dollar sign is when you want to get the value of it. This is changed. So now from shell 2 is changed to this. If I just do f, let's define a name is equal Wahid. And then I say f dollar sign name is equal Wahid. So I'm going to just write it in lowercase all the same way I did that one. Then say something. Notice that then as symbol is waiting for me. Say echo hello and dollar sign name. And then it will just say that one. And then since it's matching, I don't have to say else part. I could say fi and then say hello. Notice that the dollar name is not symbols there because when I did this define name, I missed the E. That variable echo nam, dollar sign nam is also nom. And for C actually, for name is says nom. So that's neat. By accident, I typed it nom. So you could do this one, and if now you run it, it will just say hello Wahid. So based on the variable comparison, it's going to check. And if you just change this word, say, for example, Wahidullah, it is matching a part of it, but it is still in equality symbol. It just does that. So it is still matching, say, hello name. And then if you just change it to something else, let's say, notice here you catch some syntax error. I say this, it's going to say hello Wahid. Disregard to that one, it's going to say hello Wahid because there's no if statement, right? And then there's no else part. So the part that you want to correct it here, you could just say, run this statement, say, then echo hello name and dollar sign name, and then else echo I don't know you, whatever. They say no such name, and then a file. No, see that it's still doing that one. Can you guess why? Since name is here, and then I'm just comparing with this, it says still says. And then this is semantic error, not syntax error. The syntax is all correct. Semantic meaning that when you're comparing to a string, you have to say greater or equal, like this. This is just going to say, if this is the word in Wahid is greater, yes, it is greater. But greater or equal is still not going to be showing here. So I have to do less than compare and to get the other value. No such name. Because the string W is greater than the character T when it compares the two of them. Okay? So that's a string comparison. So if you, another comparison, like for example, if I say if 10 is greater than 50, you can see that it's 10 is greater than 50. Let me just do this. 10 is greater than 5, which is true, right? Then I should say then echo yes, else echo no, fi. Notice that it's going to perfectly work there because syntactically it's correct and semantically correct. But if I just change this one to a word like a string rather than a number, comparing to a string, then it's going to say yes. That is also accurate. And let's just change this one to say less than. And it is still doing it. So I'm going to say if 10 is greater than 50, 15. And this is still doing it, okay. So now with the comparison, with the greater symbol, that is actually going to show, but this would fail. Because if this one is looking at the 5, then it's going to say 10 is greater than 5, it's going to say no. Because you're comparing the 1 against a 5. If I change this 1 to 4, it still is going to say no, because 4 is less than 5. If you make this one to a 5 or 6, let's say 6 is greater than 5, yes, it's going to say 6 is greater than 5. So the word, the string here comparison is the equality symbol rather than the dash equal symbol. So if I just say this one to 510 or 500, let's say, then it's should say no. But it is, it still says 6 is greater than 6 is greater than 5, it's still going to say yes. In order to make it correctly, you have to do dash equality is greater than. This one is going to say no, because 0 is not greater than, the number 60 is not greater than this. So whether you use a string or a number, the dash G and P will be more accurate to use. If you are using a string comparison, be careful with the greater sign symbol, and that for numbers, it's not going to work. For a string comparison, the two string has to match, and that is a good quality to check. So the man test page will give you all the syntax of it. I had made another videos a long time ago that is going to compare all the integers. And notice the integer comparison, integer versus equal, and then greater sign and this. Okay. The reason I went all off of the topic of PS2 is because inside your script, you are seeing all these kind of anomalies. You may experience it. So another one is echo $PS2. I could give you another example of a for statement. You could say, for example, for the for statement, you could say for I and let's say sequence of 10 numbers, and then do. Notice every time I do, I could do some command, sleep, and then and just say sleep. Actually, I could do Control C out of it, right? So you can do a Control C at any time. For I in sequence of 10, and then do, and then date, sleep. Let's say 1 second only, and then I'm gonna say echo $I, and then done. So it's gonna just go 10 times for numbers, and it's gonna print the date, and it's gonna sleep 1 second in between them, and it's gonna end at after pressing typing 10. So this is a for statements example. Sequence by itself actually give you a 10. You don't have to use sequence. You can do for I and this brace statement 1 to colon 10, and then say do, and then say echo $I, and then done. You could do the same sequence. Or you could just say, for example, instead of the sequence, let's say You could go for I, and the range doesn't have to go to small numbers. You could say 1,000 dot dot, let's say 100, and then just do those ones, and then say and do echo and dollar sign I, and then done. So it will just to print all the numbers very fast for you up to 100. And then if you just go on the top, you could see all these numbers that are there. You can see here. It's a lot of numbers. I'm not going to go through that list. You can always do a pipe more and then send it to a file or something, and then put file and then print it there. An example would be like something like that for statement that we did, the echo, we could just say greater sign and say num dot text. So now I have the value of num dot text is all sorry, clear screen, and num more and num dot text. I could see the value of it, all of them are there from 1,000 down, and just go there. So that it's a lot of things with the programming. You can do everything that you want to do and print it. I hope you learn something out of the prompt shell one, and I showed you different ways of example of it. I mean, I could cover for statement and all these other statements, but just doesn't matter how you do it. Let's just cover for statement as well. So x is equal, and let's say I'm gonna say 10, and say while x dollar sign x is dollar sign x is less than let's say 100. I'm gonna increment it by 20, for example. I'm gonna say echo the number. We just want to type in the number and dollar sign x, and then we say x is equal. We're now changing the number, so we have to get out of the while loop. At some point, that condition has to be false. So I'm going to say while, and then expression dollar sign x. I'm going to increment it by 20, plus 20, and then just backtick. That is going to do that, and then say done, and then it's going to print out. So this is how simple it is with all of those ones, how you want to do it. But notice that greater sign on the prompt shell one, until it saw the do, until it didn't see the done, that's the syntax of while statement. So when you're going to the next statement, every time you write it, for example, if I say if, let's say if I'm going to just say 100 is greater than 10. And then you see that the syntax is requiring something that is there. Then you say echo, yes. Notice that it is waiting for the fi or else. If I do else, it's going to go back to the next one. Echo, no. And then at this time, if I want to just do some other statement, like aside from the type in the date or something, because it is correct. As soon as I type in fi, it's gonna say yes. It does not care about this. But if I just go up arrow and then change this one to, let's say, 1 is less than, it's gonna say no, and then it prints out the date. So the syntax and semantic is all important, and the prompt shell too will help you, guide you to say that what you want to do the next step. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you like it. Please don't forget to like our channel and subscribe if you haven't done so. I really appreciate it. Take care. Bye-bye.